Welcome to Lazy Booking Live here on A2DRadio.com. Tuesday nights coming at you. Myself, Mr. Matty Sinsudi. What's up, brother?
What is? God damn it! I always get that wrong.
Other way, bud. Other way. Other way. It's always the
I
opposite of
I
what you
know.
think it is, but
I know. Coordination is not
I'm
Not your
perfect
strong
I'm
sometimes.
now
suit.
I'm now instinctually trying to figure out that have figured out that it's the opposite way. And obviously down here we have Andy Ritter from In This Very Ring, Saturday nights live here on A2D Radio, joining us. Guys, lots to talk about, but first thing we got to talk about is our beautiful sponsors, Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy. And you can find him in Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey, and find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. No appointment necessary, so hit up Dr. Paul Vidal and get yourself taken care of. Also by Ambuck Services. Fall starting, gutters are getting clogged, and hey, you need outside work done. You need the kings of gutter cleaning and gutter work. You need Ambuck Services. That's AMBUCK services.com. Gutter guards, gutter cleaning, tree trimming, deck installation, restoration, any outside work. Let Michael Ambrose know that we sent you here at A2D Radio, and guess what? You're going to get 20% off your deal there. That's AMBUCK services.com. Our topic of conversation tonight, guys, we're going to kick it off with a Hell in a Cell review, and that's brought to you by Philly Drinkers. Alex over there running a great ship. You need any kind of A2D merch over there. They have their own great merch. Show shirts, A2D shirts, Philadelphia inspired shirts, mugs, shorts, the most comfortable shorts in the world. The fall collection is there. Polo shirts, everything's there. That's at phillydrinkers.com. You're looking for the A2D collection, get directly there. It's phillydrinkers.com /A2D radio. We got the Philadelphia Quarterback Factory shirt. Hey, bad things happen in Philadelphia. We all know that. And guess what? You got your pick of the litter of designs there. So shout out to Alex and phillydrinkers.com. And that topic of conversation is Hell in a Cell. Exceeded my expectations. Agree, disagree. So we thank you guys if you're joining us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch live. We appreciate you. If you didn't catch it live and you're catching us on your podcast platforms, all major podcast platforms, we appreciate you and we hope you enjoy the show. If you're watching us live, guys, get in that comment section. We want to hear what you guys felt about Hell in a Cell. We want to hear. Oh, we got some baseball comments here. No, I hope the Rays come back to win. Fuck the Dodgers. Okay, I'm really not trying to curse on this show. I'm doing a lot to really taper down my cursing, but I'm going to get that two out there because I'm going to say it again. Fuck the Dodgers. Okay, let's go Rays.
Gee, tell me how you really feel.
I've never been a Dodgers guy. But we're here. We're talking pro wrestling. We're going to talk Hell in a Cell. We're going to talk WWE Raw. We're going to recap some of the highlights of Raw. I think a lot to talk about. As well as kind of start the Survivor Series conversation, guys. We know that's rolling out in a couple of weeks. So I think a big thing that we could take away, and we'll get into it, is the exclusion of a specific group that was heavily promoted and heavily used in last year's Survivor Series. So we'll get to that a little later in the show. But I want to start with our topic of conversation, guys. A very eventful Hell in a Cell. We saw a number of titles change. We saw a certain briefcase switch hands. Lots of things that happened to change the landscape after the draft. And I want to get what your guys' thoughts were. Kevin Dixon says, "What's up, fellas? I thought it was good in a way on some of the matches, and that's fair. I loved it. I'm going to kick it off this time. I usually defer to you guys, but I want to kick it off. I thought this was a great pay-per-view. I liked the way that it was set up. I actually liked that we had Roman and Jey Uso to open it. I was a fan of how that match played out. We'll dive specifically into matches shortly. But I liked how that went, and then obviously the bookend of having Drew and Randy Orton. A little bit surprised by the ending, but maybe I'm not. And I think you guys kind of know that, there was a part of me that's been sitting on that, maybe if we, and I think I said it months ago, but I forgot about it, was that, at some point I felt like we could see the title back in Orton's hands closer to whenever Edge's recovery time comes up. Because I do believe that that's the program for the title that they want for WrestleMania. So it doesn't really shock me at this point. And I don't know that they want to go into Survivor Series running Drew and Roman at each other. I think that's another big payday that they're going to save for another time. But I'm going to defer to you guys. But for me, agree. I thought it would be good, but I did think it exceeded my expectations. I thought all the Hell in a Cell matches were good. They were different. We didn't see monotony between all of them, which I liked. It was a little flavor in each one. So I'm going to defer over to Maddie now, Maddie, and let me know what you thought about
it. Did it surpass my expectations? The Hell in the Cell matches, I would say they did. I expected a solid match from Drew and Orton, but I didn't think I was going to get as much as we did. They actually climbed to the top of the cell, so I thought that was actually really cool to see them do that. That bumped the match up a few points for me.
And honestly, Maddie, too, it's two guys you wouldn't really expect to see that from.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, Uso and Reigns, I knew that one was going to be good going in, but that was even better than what I thought it was going to be. Only because the story there was so strong, and just because of the family side of it. I like it. I really actually am into this whole side of it. I never thought I'd say that I was actually into a Roman Reigns angle, but sure enough, you turn him heel and you give him Paul Heyman, and magic happens somehow, some way.
Welcome to the dark side, Maddie.
Yeah.
We have cookies.
What kind?
What kind do you want? I'll DoorDash whatever you need.
Fried Oreo.
Done. This is Texas. You don't think I can get that for you?
Oh, I'm sure you can. There's a lot of things you can get in Texas. Like a gun. But anyway.
Whoa!
All right. So back. Oh, sorry, Andy. What were you going to say?
I didn't know if you were done or not.
I was just going to finish up my whole point. The only thing I will say, the only thing I felt that was that dragged was I piss braked on Jeff Hardy and Elias, and on top of that, I really didn't care for what they're doing with Retribution in the Hurt Business. I really don't give a shit about it. So that's the only thing that I really didn't care about. Everything else was fine. Everything else was really, really good.
Andy.
So, I look at it from two different perspectives, right? I compare this year's Hell in a Cell to last year's Hell in a Cell. And on that note, I had really low expectations coming into it, you know? And so, yes, in that aspect, it did exceed my expectations 100%. And then I also look at, from a match perspective, matches. I thought the Roman J match, like that style, the Hell in a Cell mixed with an I Quit match, that went off a lot better than I thought it was going to. I was kind of nervous about how they would be able to properly incorporate the I Quit style into the Hell in a Cell match. And the fact that it kicked off the show, like, Chrome, I knew you were at an indie show, and it took everything I have not in my core not to message you and be like, get up and leave right now. Because I'm sitting at home, I'm watching the pre-show, and they're loading in the cage. I was like, oh, cool, Sasha Bailey are going to start off. All right, that'll be a nice fire match. And they're like, all right, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso. I went, oh my God! Because of how highly anticipated, I guess, this match has become, and the storyline has become each and every week on Friday Night SmackDown, having that one kick off the show is kind of a curveball for me. And so that took my expectation and blew it out of the water. It was phenomenal. It was and we'll, like you said, we'll break down each and every match individually, but the whole show even the Retribution Hurt Business stuff, at least it continued a story. It may not be a good story. It may be one we're kind of getting tired of, whatever our opinions are on that, but at least it furthered something. The Elias and Jeff Hardy match, it furthered something. It didn't suck. I've seen worse, but it furthered the story. Every match on the card that night furthered the story. Hell, even the R-Truth Gulak match on the pre-show furthered a story. Like if I could say there's one pay-per-view out of the entire year that has everything has mattered and everything has furthered a story, it's this one.
Agreed.
I think this gives us the most coming out the other side.
I would agree. And I actually thought that this was one of the better pay-per-views, one of the top pay-per-views of the entire year so far, to be honest. You had title changes, you had high quality matches, you had great storytelling. Listen, every pay-per-view, doesn't matter if you're WWE, NJPW, AEW, Impact, there's always a match or two that just maybe doesn't connect as much, whether it's Jeff Hardy and Elias, whether it's the Hurt Business and Retribution, whatever it is. However, in the grand scheme of things, I don't want to say they're sub-programs, particularly what they've tried to do with the Hurt Business and Retribution. However, they are mid-card or undercard programs. When you talk about what you're getting out of your most invested feuds, and that's all your top talent for all your major titles, I think it was a home run. And hey, by the way, Money in the Bank. I'm sorry, Andy. I apologize if I know that hurt your feelings. However,
it did.
Let's be real. Do we really believe that Otis was going to cash in on when it was The Fiend or now with Roman Reigns? Like, to me, it does almost a disservice to him to have him waste that Money in the Bank. At least now you should. And I think I would hope. I almost wanted them last night to do like now Miz has to defend it against Drew. And then put it on Drew. I wanted it.
So I missed the opening segment last night live, right? I had to go back and catch it. But I jumped on Twitter to figure out what the opening segment was. Mm-hmm. And the clip that I see is Drew saying it's going to be a bad night for Miz. And I went, oh, he's going to take the Money in the Bank off of the Miz tonight. This is going to be great.
I really thought that.
And that's not what's happening. But like, here's my thing with the Otis bit. Because you brought it up. He's been beaten down. He lost the Money in the Bank. Mandy went to Raw. Tucker went to Raw and then subsequently turned on him. We're not going to get – I don't see where Otis gets a payoff here, where he gets his defining I don't want to use Retribution. His comeback story.
Survivor Series.
Okay.
Tucker. That's a cross brand. So whether they're a part of the tag team, the actual tag team match, or it's brand versus brand, you can get away with having that match there. This is the time where guys show up on other shows, so you could run that program out now. At the time of year, I guess it makes sense to do it now.
Can we just say that Frank needs friends?
Hey, sorry to bother you at work. I didn't see the pay-per-view, but I want a steak dinner. Everybody sing along like the wallpaper sticks to the wall. Oh, Frank, buddy. I got hugs for you, bud. Giving hugs.
I gotta love Frank. See, Damien's on my side. Otis got screwed.
Stop it. Listen, it was a fun story when Otis won the Money in the Bank. It was shocking, which is good. But in the end, we knew this was going to happen. The carrying around the lunchbox to me, like, I think it's different. And I know people could say, well, Brock walked around like it was a boombox.
Oh, but you love that beat.
That's totally different.
You love that, right?
That was totally.
Get the hell out of here.
Listen, everybody, social media will tell you that everybody needed a little bit of boombox Brock in their lives.
Good times, man. Good times.
I miss it. I miss dancing Brock and boombox Brock. We needed that though. The thing with Otis is like the lunch pail and all that stupid shit was stupid.
I will say,
to me, it made it a joke.
I will say I got a kick out of Judge JBL though. I did. I thought that shit was funny as shit. Just to see JBL.
So if you go to their YouTube page, it's actually in 2 parts. So and they were pretty spread out as far as the whole uploading them. So I saw part 1 and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And JBL sitting there taking it so seriously. But like the Miz and Otis, and they keep hearing the ching ching in the background. And I'm like, oh God. And part 2 shows up. And I'm like, all right, JBL's actually taking this seriously. And he goes for the verse. I'm like, okay, it's going to be over, right? We're done. We're going to move on. And then the Miz bribed, and I'm like, never mind. I can't say what I was about to say on the air. Oh, wow. I almost thought I had to stop myself. But I need you to think, what am I?
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Okay. I was like, this guy. I mean, I know money talks, but good God, how much money was in that briefcase that actually made you go, oh, I need this?
Andy.
Oh, no.
Come on, man. Oh my God, Otis is going to win. What do you mean Otis didn't win? If you didn't think that was going to end up in a match between those two.
No, that part I knew. I knew it was coming to a match. I knew somehow we were going to get to a match at Hell in a Cell, right? But I didn't expect the briefcase to be on the line, I guess. I don't know.
Why would you not expect?
Mind you, I watched this thing at like 2:30 in the morning.
How long have you been watching professional wrestling, Andy?
Sports
entertainment.
More than I probably would like to admit in a public setting.
I'm sure, but you know what?
More than any of us would ever admit in a public setting.
Well, unfortunately,
you gotta own that shit, though.
Entirely too much, so, yeah, 75% of my wardrobe is wrestling shirts. So,
mine too.
But listen, I mean, I enjoy that. Yes, see. What's that? Penis Extractor 9000 or 900. Love the picture too. He loved JBL. Rob Povier, yes, you can, Andy.
God, I can't believe that. I'm dumb.
That's
I think that guy wins comments, and he didn't even need to comment. He just needed to say his name.
But anyway, name with the Big E picture wins right there.
Oh man!
I thought that was great, and I had I as soon as it went to there was no doubt in my mind that Miz was going to walk out with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah, that was kind of a no-brainer.
So let's kind of touch back over the card, guys. Andy, if you want to pull up the order of the card for me.
Righty, I have it right here.
And as you do, we'll start. Obviously, we started off Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. Andy kind of touched on a little bit earlier. Love that they started the pay-per-view with this. I know that there were certain parts, and I'll let Andy talk about that he found a little bit weird. But overall, I love this again. I thought it was a little weird. So, Jimmy, basically pops right up after basically his brother's got to save him. That was a little weird. Not very good selling. However, overall, I like it. I'll be interested to see what the fallout is of that, because are they now his lackeys, or are they going to walk away and take a hiatus until they're brought back? And I loved at the addition of the Wild Samoans, because we've talked about, right? Almost jokingly, how can Roman say the family is going to disown anybody or do this and that? So it just added another layer of, this guy is the top of the food chain, the head of the family, head of the table, it's his island and all that, the chief. And then to have those guys out and officially anoint him as the chief of the family, the chief of the tribe, I thought was absolutely spectacular. And to have the Uso brothers kind of have to watch this, I loved it. I thought it was great storytelling.
Yeah, I liked it because, when you take a look at the family dynamic of the Samoans, you never really seen, in my opinion, you've never seen an angle like this with the family where the family's fighting the family. That's never been done before, mostly because a lot of times there's only that one family member that's here and everybody else is kind of here. But with this, I think it helps elevate, I think it helps elevate everybody in this case. It helps elevate the Usos. It also elevates Roman to where you can now make him unlikable. And on top of it as well, it's another one of those where it's new ground being broken on a storyline, which is always great to see. And it's always great to see something taken in a different direction and done well. And I think that it was done very well here. And I think the match had good psychology to it as well. Being able to hear them and have them be able to say what they're saying back and forth, I think that added so much to the match. I think if you had a crowd, it would have been difficult to do because you would have had to up the mics and, it could have possibly caught them, calling spots. But when you get to that level of the Thunderdome where you can kind of control that, is perfect. It was a great setup, great opportunity. They took it and they rolled with it. And I really liked this match. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I think to your point, Maddie, we've seen the family thing done before because one of the greatest feuds of all time is Bret and Owen. However, to your point,
To Simone.
on the scale of there's so many members of this family that are high profile from every generation, going back to the Wild Samoans, High Chief Peter Maivia, how many people, Yokozuna, Umaga,
Rikishi.
Rikishi, Fatu,
Rosie.
Nia, Dwayne, and I mean, there's so many, the Usos, and I'm sure there's people, honestly, I'm forgetting at this point. I mean, isn't Jimmy Snook in that family somewhere too? They're all related in some way. I know Snook is related to The Rock. I don't know if he's related to Roman, but, there's just so many different layers, so many high-profile people from that family that you're right. You've never seen it quite on this scale to where one guy is basically becoming the new patriarch of the family and anointed by the previous generation.
Yeah.
We saw Stu Hart and Martha Hart and and Diana Hart and all them kind of hover around to sit in the crowd and stuff. But you never saw Stu in there saying, "All right, you're the son of sons." You never really saw anything like that. You had Davey Boy and the Anvil kind of, in the peripheral of those, but again, they're married into the family. We're talking bloodlines here. And I thought it was really, really well done. I agree with you, Maddie. I can't recall ever seeing anything on this scale using one of the biggest professional wrestling dynasties of all time at this level. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I like the change of not the change. I like I was changing my camera bit here. It was all fuzzy. It went out of focus. Leave me alone. No, I thought the bit at the end with the Wild cute. The bit at the end with the Wild Samoans was phenomenal. At first I was like, wait a minute. I had a moment watching. I got so invested for a second. I was like, I thought to myself, I was like, wait, who's their dad? Referring to the Usos. I couldn't remember for a moment. And then it hit me because I was like, they both hug him really quickly and everything like that. And I heard Michael Cole say something relating to father and whatnot. And I was like, wait a minute, who are they talking about? I thought the Usos' dad was Rikishi and all that. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. For me, where I was like, okay, do something, move on, get it over with, was the bit when Jimmy comes out, right? It adds to the story, don't get me wrong. But I thought that particular part of it just went on a little too long. And having Roman cry, which, by the way, well done on him. Well done on Roman.
Yeah.
I mean, my God. That was
so well done.
That was I'm sitting there, it's like, is this man crying right now? Did he just cry on cue? So it was really cool to watch, but I was like, okay, come on. Give me, if this isn't ending the show, I don't need it to draw out this long. Which I think it should have ended the show. In hindsight, that visual of Roman with the Wild Samoans holding the title from a visual standpoint, right? From a visual, here's your cementing image as we go off the air. Roman with the Samoans holding the titles. It would have been better if he made the Usos flank him, because it's been stated that the Usos are essentially his indentured servants now.
Mm-hmm.
make the Usos flank the Wild Samoans, and Reigns holding the title. That's an image I want to come off the air.
I'll even go a level up. Make them kneel in front of him while he gets anointed. Take a knee in front of him. I can see that. And then get up.
Kind of like crowning a king or something like that.
Yep, and then get up and then flank him after the fact while he holds that title up.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, to that, I think we're nitpicking, but you're absolutely right, man. I still think it was spectacular. I know you do too. That was so well done. Moving on, what was the next match on the card?
So after that, oh wait, I'm on the wrong show. Hold on. After that, we had Elias and Jeff Hardy.
Was what it was. I still think this is dumb. I don't get it. I mean, this is one of those, like, we want to turn Elias, so let's, like, force it in some way. And to me, so does Elias not watch the company that he works for when he's not in it?
He's busy recording his album.
I'm fairly certain that he would realize that Jeff Hardy had nothing to do with that, and then at that point, am I wrong?
Right. You know what's sad? I was about to say, hey, I like this storyline because of continuity. We're calling back to something, and then Chrome makes that comment.
Yeah, that kind of just shot that one dead in the water.
Yep.
I don't even know if it was in the water. I think it didn't even have a chance. He just shot it before it even got there.
It's like mid-dive. Boom!
Yeah. But
like if somebody's like, "Oh, there's a gator in the water." I'm not even waiting for it to pop up. I'm just taking the shot and getting it.
Yeah, you're taking a shot right there. Fucker's still in the water. I will say though, one thing I will say is I love when Elias does his songs. I think they're hilarious. Just
Agreed.
My personal opinion. I still love that. I would say though that you're right. They are forcing it, and it does kind of suck that they're doing that. But I hope that it leads to at least something decent for Elias, because they go through these periods where they use him and then they just toss him to the background and we don't see him for like 4 or 5 months. You know?
Yeah.
I struggle here because I like Jeff Hardy. I've liked Jeff Hardy for a while, you know, especially kind of on the back end here where he's kind of gotten clean and everything, like, as clean as he can be and everything like that. And Elias, I'm a huge fan of, because he's taken every dumb angle they've thrown at him and he's really made it work. You know, I think they're great in the ring. The disqualification ending, I didn't care for. You know, this is gonna lead to some dumb guitar on a pole match, or I'm calling it now, right? It's gonna be dumb. We're gonna hate it, but this is what it's leading toward. I swear to God, Maddie, if you say a TLC match with a guitar hanging instead of a
That
title,
is exactly where my mind was going, because it's WWE and this is stupid shit and this is what they do. So, opening match is a TLC match with the guitar hanging. Jeff Hardy's going to do a swanton with the guitar on his back and just land through a table.
I saw that little light bulb in Maddie click and I went, this guy.
That Paul Heyman shit just happened right there.
But I mean, move on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that we all agree. I like Elias heel much more. I think he's a very well spoken heel, both in the spoken word and in music. And I miss that element of his character. I really do. I thought his face run could have been decent. It's one of those ones where I think he could go either way, but he's so much better as a heel that it just, I just don't like the route that we're taking now, because that's what feels forced, not him as a performer performing as a heel as if he's out of place. It's just, we went that face route, and this is what we're going to do to get back there. You could have gone 100 different ways. I just don't get it. I mean, he He didn't turn heel on Corbin when Corbin tried to murder him for 3 weeks in a row.
Oh shit, you're right.
Like, really?
I forgot all about that.
How do you
Corbin
forget about
literally-
attempted murder?
Corbin
well, I
literally
mean-
tried to absolutely murder him, and he just got upset and had a match with him. Now, Jeff Hardy goes away, doesn't really do it. He doesn't obviously watch his company when he's hurt, and all of a sudden now he's like an evil, vindictive person out of nowhere. It just makes no sense to me. It's ridiculous. I just have him come back and be like, listen, I recorded my album. I remembered how fucking awesome I am. And now I'm just going to start sticking it to you. That's it. That's all you need to do.
Or is no one going to talk about how he still says silence your cell phones and shut your mouths? We're not going to talk about that while there's nobody in the arena.
I love it, though. It's even better.
How is it better?
It's perfect.
It just ties into how oblivious he is.
Oh, great. It's great. Even at home, put your goddamn cell phone down and let's go. Everybody. But yeah, I mean, the match for what it was, whatever. I agree. This to me was the bathroom break match, and I hate to say that, but it was. What do we have next there, Andy?
Money in the Bank contract. Otis with Tucker versus Miz with Morrison.
I think it's safe to say, guys, we touched a lot on this. So I don't want to dive too deep into it. However, I did not see this ending coming as it was conveyed. I didn't see Tucker turning on him. Not
What?
now. I didn't see it coming. Sorry. I could have seen Mandy Rose coming out and turning on him before Tucker.
No, that one I wouldn't have saw coming. The Tucker one I kind of saw coming, especially like after the Law and Otis, and I actually said Law and Otis out loud. After that segment and after them getting split up, I was like, all right, it's coming. It's gonna happen at Hell in a Cell. He's gonna be the one that cost him the contract.
And maybe I just overlooked that. I mean, I definitely thought at some point that there would be something between them. I didn't see that being the costing factor for Money in the Bank, though. I actually honestly could have seen to where he lost the Money in the Bank and Otis turned heel on Tucker. Maybe Tucker tries to help him out, costs him the match. He's frustrated because he lost Mandy, this and that. I would have seen him turn heel over Tucker, to be honest with you. And I didn't see that coming. So what can I tell you? Maddie?
I mean, but at some point we knew that Tucker was going to lose the briefcase. When he lost it the way he lost it, I was thinking
Otis?
Otis Tucker. Yeah, my bad. Otis.
Big difference.
There's a difference. I will admit, one can do the caterpillar, the other one can't do the caterpillar. But anyway, with that, when we saw Otis win, it's like, all right, well, clearly he's going to lose that briefcase at some point. Question is, how's he going to lose it? When Tucker did what he did, I thought, interesting. The wheels started turning in my head. I'm thinking, like, okay, how are they going to make this work? Because Tucker's now on Raw. And I thought, maybe Tucker steals Mandy. Maybe they do something like that. Maybe they do something else where, like you were saying, they have the blow-off match at Survivor Series or some shit like that, basically. I think that was really where I was like, interesting. What are they going to do with Tucker and Otis now that they're both on separate shows? It'd be one thing if they were both on the same show. That's like, all right, they're just going to have that mid-card rivalry that's just going to be there for a month or two, and then they're going to move on from it. But, I mean, it's a start for Tucker. Hopefully it pans out for him because he's not a bad wrestler. It's just, unfortunately, he got overshadowed. He's not a bad wrestler. Just he got overshadowed by Otis. Otis being the goofy, lovable character of the group, it kind of happened. To be fair, though, after what you just said, though, Chrome, Otis turning heel probably would have made more sense at that particular part, only because it would have given Otis more of a fresh start and would have given Tucker, whatever. But it would have probably been a little bit better for Otis if that had happened.
I mean, you could go with the lazy storyline, and I know Kevin asked, do we think that Tucker was bribed, or is it going to end up being a program? Basically, I think is what he's asking. I think it'll be a program, but you look at it like they could go the lazy storyline of, oh, you left me behind and this and that, you forgot about the tag team and your friendship and yada yada. But I mean, I don't think he really did. You know, anytime Tucker was in trouble, Otis was out there to help him out. You know, I don't think that was really the case, and I hate that storyline. It's just so played out.
They kind of set up for that with the post-match interview that Tucker did at Hell in a Cell. At least you kind of saw the groundwork being laid for that. And I actually have more of a problem with the post-match interview than I do with The Miz winning the contract. Otis comes back, and he doesn't immediately go after Tucker, who, let's be honest, he cost you the match. No, you like freight trained through Miz and Morrison, and then decide you're going to want to go after Tucker once he has time to book it. If I'm Otis, I don't give a damn about Miz and Morrison at this point. They'll get theirs later, right? I'm going after the guy that screwed me, my best friend. Because, you know, like if my best friend screws me over, I'm going after him before I go after whoever capitalized on that.
Yep.
You know, and to play the whole Tucker got overshadowed and he's a great wrestler, I agree. Because, to what Maddie said, because when Heavy Machinery first came up on the main roster was my real exposure to them because I was kind of getting away from NXT on a consistent basis. And I said one day, wow, this guy Tucker can talk. He can wrestle. You know, Otis wasn't really developed. He was just the goofball of the group. You know, and as they got more screen time, Otis blossomed and Tucker kind of tuckered.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think Tucker's that great of a talker. Maybe it's just my opinion. I think he's okay. I just think he's very vanilla. So maybe there's a reinvention of him as a character.
Tucker versus Damian Priest.
The two vanilla. There we go. Lazy booking right here. That'll be on the In Your House.
Triple threat match. Let's throw Corbin in there too.
There you go. And that will be a part of the In Your House Go Fuck Yourself booking pay-per-view.
Yes, it would.
That we still have to do.
that is probably the most bland triple threat match that you'll ever see in your life. Listen, I mean, I just never got into him. I can see the appeal of Otis. You know, he is the everyman's kind of man. You know, he's that guy who, you know, gets the girl, and he's talked actually openly too about his personal issues as a kid with dealing with some, you know, medical stuff, you know, in terms of like ADHD and different things. He's just a very likable guy, and I actually think he's a decent worker for his size. You know, I think he's athletic for his size. And Tucker, to me, was just always in NXT and in regular WWE programming, just very bland. He doesn't have an outstanding look. He doesn't talk there's nothing unique about the way he talks. Like, he could string some good statements together, but a lot of it is delivery and believability. And I just never felt that way with him. You know, Otis is goofy, but like, you know, that's been the story of professional wrestling. I mean, did anybody ever know what the hell Randy Savage or Ultimate Warrior said? 85% of the time, probably not. Hell, Hogan.
We still don't.
How many times did Hogan go on rants? I mean, it's just that's pro wrestling, you know. But their characters that people buy into, their delivery makes it feel like they said something important or something special or entertaining. To me, Tucker's just a guy. Like, he's a guy I think would be a mid-carder on Impact. You know, it's not all about just the in-ring work. When you talk
Tucker
about
would be world champion over there.
Well, Eric Young is. But, like, when you talk about WWE, and this is where I again, people want to compare, but you can't. They are branded sports entertainment for a reason. That's what they are. They don't shy away from it. You know, AEW wants to brand itself, even though if you look at, you know, the steak dinner last week, and I loved that, by the way, in hindsight. I didn't love it at first, but I watched it a couple of times, and it's pretty brilliant. But, you know, these companies brand themselves as professional wrestling, and WWE is sports entertainment based off of professional wrestling. Like, that's what they are. So if you're expecting to get the same thing from NJPW and this, you're not going to get it. You're just not going to get it. And unfortunately for guys like Tucker and a lot of these guys who people bitch and complain that don't get pushed, it is what it is, guys. That's not what their programming is. So it's not the program for you then. But I think Otis, it makes a ton of sense to me why Otis would easily get over. You know, if the only way he wouldn't get over, in my opinion, is if he was dog shit in the ring. And he's not. He's not. He's believable. You know, so.
He's the blue collar man. I love his new music.
Well, Otis's new music?
Yes.
Did anyone else
get rid of
think
the heavy machinery stuff now? So,
did anyone else think when they heard the Blue Collar Worker that they were going to hear a Real Man's Man theme song all of a sudden kick in? Because I really thought that was going to happen.
Yes. I'm not the only one.
I was like, I just thought of William Regal and that fucking hard hat for 90 fucking 9.
He's a man.
Oh man.
God, that would have been phenomenal.
but yeah, no, I mean, so we'll see how this plays out. Andy, let's move on to the next match, brother.
Bailey Sasha.
Loved it. I loved it.
Phenomenal.
Listen, it took us forever to get here.
Yes.
And I think,
no, it took us an eternity to get here.
I think Andy's been with this station for 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
Andy's been with A2D Sports Media for 2 years at this point. And I think me and you, Maddie, were having this argument before Andy even got to A2D.
I think everybody was having this argument before I got here.
Holy shit, that just hit me.
And if it's
holy
not that far
shit.
back, it's not very long after Andy joined here, but we have had that battle. And we finally got our payoff, boys. And I have to say, just because we're finally here, I've bought into both characters as they are. It took me a long time because I was heavily turned off on both of them. But I think that this was the
Wait, you didn't like Sasha?
Well, listen, you think my Sasha hate was bad. I still think she's a botch best, but you think about that, man. How off was I with Bailey? And I'm talking turned off by it. I wasn't off with my assessment then, but she's done a hell of a lot to reinvent herself.
Oh, yeah.
She's, I mean, in my opinion, any company, when you just talk about not just the in-ring, but the overall persona, especially now with Becky being gone and certain people out of it, I mean, she's pretty close to Charlotte Flair at her peak, in my opinion, in terms of female heel work.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. No, absolutely. So I had heard a rumor that a personality that I watch that covers wrestling was back on this one channel. So they took some time off for mental health and everything like that. So I had to go and watch their first episode back. I had to do it. And 5 seconds in, they said, so I've already figured out the main event for WrestleMania 37. Bailey versus Duct Tape.
Oh, God. Oh.
That was funny.
That spot.
Oh, my God. And she almost
didn't even work.
tripped.
And then it didn't even work.
Oh, my God. That spot. I literally, I was into this match, and I stopped dead and just started laughing and replayed it like 2 or 3 times, but she almost tripped over the fucking kendo sticks. I'm like, oh my God, she almost fucking just ate shit right there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't she ask the referee for a knife or something? It's like, can you help me? He's like, no, I can't help you.
It's like, what are you doing? The mics are live. Shut the fuck up. It's like,
and that's the best part is not only did it not work, but her tripping over it was like the icing. It was like, this is, and the thing is, like, I'm a guy who's like, when I see someone doing something wrong, like, it's almost like I forget I'm watching a program. It's like I'm sitting there watching my friend try to, like, like construct something or put it together, and I'm like sitting there and I'm saying, no, you have to tape it on a diagonal and work it down. She's just trying to tape it in one spot.
It's like trying to put a science project together in high school.
Oh my god, dude, I totally forgot that I was watching like a pay-per-view for a minute, and I felt like I was like yelling at the TV, and I like by myself, and I'm like, no, you can't tape it that way. You have to tape it this way, and you have to secure it more in a longer base.
I just pictured Crow yelling at the TV.
It's like
you're actually doing the hand motions.
Dude, you know what the best part is? That shouldn't just be on Botchamania. That should be on Fail Army on YouTube. Just right there.
You know what it also reminded me of? Does anybody watch Family Guy?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not taped, but I just watched an episode like 2 weeks ago, and it was the episode where they do a thing and Peter talks about saran wrap. And they do this thing where he's trying to get the saran wrap started, and it's like it literally goes on for just 3 minutes of silence of him trying to get the saran wrap, and everything that can go wrong goes wrong. What's up, Dad? Tom Arnone Papa.
What's up, Tom?
But I felt like I was rewatching that last night, guys. Rewatching the same shit. It was mind-boggling to me.
Oh my god!
The same episode of Family Guy last night or the other night on Hell in a Cell, and I'm telling you, I was literally like giving her directions on how to fix what she's doing to myself in my bedroom watching this pay-per-view. We are. God. We're talking. Right now we got bedroom talk screaming at the television about how to construct a science project.
Did you ever think in your wildest dreams that you would be yelling at wrestling about duct tape and kendo sticks?
Never.
And think of all the times you disagreed with a title changing hands, or anytime you were really into it and you just hated that guy who won. And this is one of those moments now of you yelling at wrestling.
Or you shouting, "The door's open! Crawl the hell out!"
Yeah.
Hit him! Just hit him already!
Well done.
Or like when they used to climb over the top and then they would climb back in. It's like, why are you doing that? It was the duct tape.
Or they would stand. They would stand there and they would look down at the ring, look down at the floor. It's like, go the other way. Just fall. just. No, don't jump, damn it. No.
That was kind of funny, though. Remember back in the day when cage matches, there was no one ever called for the door. They just always tried to climb over the top. I'm like, you do realize you could just walk through the fucking door anytime you want? How many times we watched cage matches back in the Attitude Era specifically? They always climbed over the cage. Never called for the door. Never.
They get about halfway down and they're like, and just like,
no,
don't do that. You're gonna break your ankle.
Or even in the ladder matches when they climb up like 2 rungs and reach for it, it's like, no, climb faster, climb higher. What are you doing?
They grab the small ladder. There's a big giant ladder here, but hey, let's pick up this small one because you know what? I'm tall. Get out.
Because the belts are 20 feet in the air and this is a 10-foot ladder. That's so gonna get the job done.
Or like they get about halfway, and it's a tall guy. Like he's like 6'5", 6'6", whatever. Gets up there and he struggles like he's doing one of these. Just extend a little further. Just fully extend the arm.
Or even better, when they look up and set the ladder up, and then they climb up, and halfway up they realize they didn't set it up under the belts. I just watched you look up and make sure you set it up there, you idiot. This is the joys of being a pro wrestling fan, guys. And the best part is when these things happen and you watch with someone that really doesn't watch or has never watched and trying to justify why these things happen. Like
it sucks. It sucks. Don't sugarcoat it. It sucks. It's the worst.
Listen, I'm not a person who's ashamed that I watch pro wrestling or sports entertainment. I love it. However, there are definitive moments where I watch with someone who's never seen and I'm like, yeah, I could kind of see why you would judge me for this.
Or it's like, hey, come watch this pay-per-view with me. It's gonna be great, or hey, let me show you this old school match. You're showing them this old match in about halfway through you realize, oh my god, this is the wrong match.
Oh,
There's certain spots in there. It's like, oh no, and you can't stop the match, right? You can't justify why you're going to stop it. So the stupid thing happens. You're like, don't look at me.
Yeah.
no, I mean
Yeah.
it's like that old like when I show people a match. So usually my go-to match, and we are off the rails here, but I have to get we have my go-to match to show people is I always go back and I show them WrestleMania 22, Edge and Mick Foley, right? So the best is when I'm trying to convince someone to watch with me, and then I'm like, okay, watch this match first. Then they watch and they're like, oh, that's pretty crazy. Okay, I'll watch. And then the dumb shit happens, and they're like, yeah, that's not what I saw there. And you told me I'd be seeing something, something, so whatever. And I'm like, yeah, well, this is the other end of it too, guys. Sorry.
It's a one-stop shop. Enjoy your stay.
Oh my god. That's
Overall, guys, I thought great. I really, aside from the match turning into a triple threat with the tape included halfway through, like Roman Reigns, at what was it, Night of Champions or whatever it was, Clash of Champions. I thought it was pretty well done. And listen, in the end, just like Roman, who just shows up and wins, I thought the tape was going to walk out champion. It didn't work out that way.
The only thing that I could have done without, just because it didn't work for me, was when Sasha's trying to put Bayley in the bank statement with the chair.
Yeah.
That should have been a kendo stick.
Yeah, but I think I would disagree with you because we've seen her with the kendo stick before, but the chair has been the symbol of the feud.
I get that, right? Just from you could have done something different for me with that. I don't know. Maybe the backstabber, like Sasha's holding the chair. I don't know.
The only thing that threw me off. The only thing that threw me off was it's a tough thing to do, and you could tell it's a tough thing to do because you got to try and get the chair at the right angle to make it seem like it's going into the neck, but you obviously don't want it to really go into the neck. And then Sasha being flexible enough to do, she was kicking the chair at the same time that she was pulling back on the bank statement, which I thought, I see what you're trying to do, but the problem is that either the camera angle's wrong and it doesn't look good, or it's just a tough spot to pull off. But the effect happened and they got the finish, but it was just one of those where okay, probably could have ended a little bit better, but it is what it is. Overall, though, great match. Doesn't take anything away from it.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Maddie, in terms of I understand the symbolism of the chair in this spot, so I had no problem with it. And I figured it's probably a tougher spot to pull off than you would think. And even though it wasn't, the excellence of execution over there, it worked out. Love you, bro.
There we go. That took. I think we have a nice long streak of you not taking a dig at Bret Hart. So there you go. Congratulations. Got to get one of those counters for this many days without a dig at Bret Hart for this show.
Most overrated main eventer of all time.
There it is. There it is. Chrome's back, everybody.
Yeah, good match, strong match. I think this was the time to shift the title. Does Sasha get a defense? She's never successfully defended any of her titles.
Oh God, that's right. Damn it.
And the tag ones don't count.
Right. Her singles titles. Sasha has never had a successful singles title defense. And
that should have been the Twitter poll question.
And Survivor Series will not be a title defense. So.
And I think that when they lost the tag titles, she was the one that got pinned.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, for the love of God.
Was she at WrestleMania?
I don't remember.
Yes, Sasha was at WrestleMania.
No, they were she pinned at WrestleMania?
Was she? Yes, because she was the last one. She was the second to last one eliminated, I believe, because it was an elimination match. Because it was a multi-woman match.
But was it her or Bayley who took the fall at WrestleMania?
So until otherwise decided, let's just say for the sake of argument that she took the fall.
What?
Sure.
All right. We don't have the tape to look back on, so we'll go with that one.
Well,
we have duct tape.
Stat Guy Ritz, who doesn't have the stats for us, and that's
Hey, Stat Guy Ritz is producing tonight. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And you're
That's
doing
true.
a good job too, brother. We appreciate you.
Always.
Anthony Adas, poor Brett. He's like 100. He's like 100. He's like 50 years old in a 100-year-old body. Greg
and
says,
somehow
but she did defend all Bailey's defenses because we know Bailey's like LeBron and can't win on her own.
Oh,
yes.
All right, cue the Ralph comment.
Shots fired.
But
I like this match a lot.
I did too.
Like, this is one where I can go back and watch it again, kind of thing. Like, I can't say that with a lot of matches just because I'm the kind of person where once I've seen something, I'm like, all right, you know. But this is one of those ones where I could go back and watch again. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, you know what? I think that what I take away from this, and this will be the last thing I have to say unless you guys are done with it too, what I felt like this did for me, you know, I felt like the 4 horsewomen stuff had ran its course. However, this was a reminder of when these women are on their game, these 4 women, no matter who the iteration
in any
is going
combination,
against each other, they can put out an absolute classic. And I felt like this, for the most part, was up there. And I have to say, guys, I don't think there's been a bad female Hell in a Cell match to date.
No, I don't think there is either.
No.
So kudos to them. Kudos to them.
All right, Maddie, you got anything else for Sasha Bailey?
Happy Sasha won, and that's it. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the United States Championship match. Bobby Lashley versus Slapjack.
Oh, the stupid name and this
Bobby
storyline.
Bobby Lashley versus a pancake. Yeah, put that in perspective for you.
That's all. That's my response.
Yeah, I really don't have. I like the match more that they had last night versus whatever this time filler was on Sunday.
I can't get motivated for this. I can't get motivated for this fucking storyline, no matter what they do with it. Honestly, it's like, okay, what are we doing? First off, Retribution, who are supposed to have been this like outlaw, destroy the establishment kind of group, is getting fucking smacked around, which is not how you should have them come off. Because, here's Slapjack getting the shit kicked out of him by Bobby Lashley. And then you have the rest of the group coming out and running away from the Hurt Business and not having a brawl with them, which is like, why are you running away? I thought you're supposed to be these tough, badass motherfuckers. You're just running away the first chance you see guys in fucking monkey suits? What the hell's wrong with you? Like, come on now. It's just Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Everybody beats them. It's okay. You're all right. MVP you might have a little trouble with. But overall, though, I don't like the storyline. I really don't. And I really still pray to God Mustafa Ali is really not the leader. I pray to God he's just a lieutenant. Yeah.
I don't mind this storyline. What I mind is the match of Bobby Lashley versus Slapjack. Right? Like, I don't know why, but I just don't care. Sorry. I don't care for Slapjack at all. Like, if it was T-Bar, if it was Mace, I really can't believe I'm saying half of these names. Like, we're talking pro wrestling, and there are guys called Mace, T-Bar, and Slapjack.
No,
okay.
Listen, man. No, listen, dude. It's Bane, Predator, and Casey Jones. Let's get it right.
All right. So that's a nerd train I can get on. Okay. So I don't need Bobby Lashley fighting Casey Jones. Right? Like, have Bobby Lashley fight Bane and let Bane take the title off of him or something. Like, give these guys a win. Now, all of that being said, you look to Monday night and they do this 8-man elimination tag match, which I thought was the only thing I don't like about it was Mia Yim, whatever we're calling her today. her involvement in getting MVP out of the match. I have never seen, and I've watched a lot of pro wrestling, as we've previously established. I have never seen something so far-fetchedly stupid to where the referee is going, "Ma'am, are you okay?" Ma'am?
He's not calling her ma'am. He was calling her Mia, which to me is the problem.
See, I heard
that.
ma'am.
Oh
No,
no. Oh man, if
I
that was my
watched it back
show,
to make sure I heard it correctly. He was calling her Mia.
oh
So
man,
that's
if that
the
ref,
problem.
oh, if that ref was on my show, I would have had his ass in the back, and his ass would have been done for the night. Because I'm like, you motherfucker. She has a different name. You're not calling her Mia out there. What the fuck is wrong with you? Sorry, but that.
Excuse me, Miss Reckoning. Reckoning.
Yeah.
Wreck. You okay, Wreck? A name?
It's a stupid name, but still, it's just like, if you're gonna go with it, go with it. Don't have the rest fucking, say her other fucking name. Jesus.
And Bobby Lashley and oh god, was it T-Bar? I think it was Bobby Lashley and it was Bobby Lashley and Mace. They're continuing their back and forth on social media.
I don't even know who's who. Please.
T-Bar but see, now I'm trying to figure.
I don't even know their names.
I know Slapjack is Casey Jones. I can't, for the life of me right now, think of which two are the other two. So screw it. We're gonna call it Dijakovic because that's who he is. Dijakovic. Bobby Lashley and Dijakovic were going back and forth, I think, on Twitter, which I'm okay with that. It's furthering the storyline. It's going to build to a title match between those two. Okay. But then when you have Mustafa Ali running away like a little, just running away, it completely erases any validation that they had of being a credible, dominant force. Right? You're having the Hurt business. Bring on the Hurt. And you're not getting your retribution like you should be. Yes, I managed to work both names in that answer. Suck it, boys.
I'd expect nothing less from you, schmuck.
Putz.
By the way, did you remember Undertaker was Mean Mark Callis?
I swear to God, I almost pulled you out of the stream like I do to Butters every week, just because you're saying stupid shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've taken way too much time to talk. Here's what I don't like. I'm just going to say this because this will tie into Raw, right? We can not talk about it when Raw comes up. I don't like that they gave this away. I don't like that they gave the match away between them. I don't care about seeing Sami Zayn versus Bobby Lashley. We've seen it. It stinks. And I'm a Bobby Lashley guy. I'm kind of a Zayn guy in terms of his in-ring work for the most part. Hate his character, but I'm down with his in-ring work. But they just don't have a chemistry. I would rather have seen this as a Survivor Series match, and this is my critique on Survivor Series. It's that they don't do enough of the traditional Survivor Series matches anymore. And that, to me, takes away from it because it's not the Survivor Series that I remember it being. It was always one of my favorite pay-per-views. We love the Rumble because the Rumble was, it was like the All-Star game, right? But I almost felt like there was the same kind of a vibe, maybe even more so with Survivor Series, because they always had like team names, like the Teamsters versus the Bad Guys in '94. Like they always had like these names, and I know what.
I was 3.
Yeah, well,
no,
yeah,
actually, I hadn't even turned. I was 2. I hadn't even turned 3 yet.
But I remember watching that stuff, but it was always like an all-star game because it was actual teams of different guys put together, and seeing that dynamic and chemistry, and maybe the last 2 guys that were left would be 2 guys you would never suspect, and getting to see them work as a tag team, like it felt different. And I don't like that you drug us along on this program for months at this point. You have, in my opinion, sacrificed the Hurt business in a big way, as much as I still love them, and thank God for MVP and being a great mouthpiece that he's almost, I'm not putting him on a Paul Heyman level, but in terms of being able to still keep you engaged despite how terrible the program is, like MVP, his run now to me, and I loved him in the beginning when he was first with WWE, what he's doing later in his career, A, for himself to keep himself so fresh and current, and B, for putting these younger guys over and making them a big deal, and some older guys, is huge to me. Absolutely commendable for what he's doing in the twilight of his career. And you gave it away. You gave away this program that should have been a Survivor Series match. Have something on the line or whatever it is, or not. Just beat the piss out of each other like you have been. At this point, you can go 3 more weeks. Just beat the piss out of each other until you get to Survivor Series.
The problem is that would break the great structure that Survivor Series has to follow. It has to be Raw versus SmackDown every stupid fucking time.
Well, no, listen. I like Raw versus SmackDown. I enjoy that element of it. We know we're going to invade the brand at some point, show up. It's fine. But guess what? Every year we make fun of it, and every year we like it. Because they find a way to make us enjoy it. They did it. The first year was kind of a surprise how they did it. Then they did it the year with Becky Lynch. Last year you had, and that's going to actually lead into our big conversation, Maddie, because, hey, by the way, they broke it last year, and guess what? It worked out for them. And now this year they went back to the original shit.
See, and I don't know if that's truly the plan.
I agree.
Because when you... Yeah, we'll get into. I have a theory.
And we're probably along the same lines. I'm speaking as of what we're seeing right now, but I agree
Fair
with
point.
you that I don't necessarily think that that's how it ends up being.
So let's do Drew and Randy, and then I do want to go, if it's okay with you. I know it's your show, but I think we should go to that Survivor Series NXT bit.
Well, let's knock out. We don't need to talk about a ton on Raw. Let's knock out the big programs because I actually really think that I want to end on that conversation.
Okay, so Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, though.
Awesome.
Love
This is the best. This is a first time in a long time, guys. First time in a long time for me that the 2 primary title programs are the best thing in the company. It's been a long time. One we usually will buy into one, the other one's whatever. We're not into the champs. I feel like the people who were involved in the title picture over the last 3 months have been absolutely spectacular. I think the fans have bought into all of these programs. I think the directions that they can go beyond this right now are endless, and I love it. And I love this match. I love that Orton used Drew's anger against him. You know, we touched on it earlier, Maddie. You know, the fact that we saw something different from 2 guys that we didn't expect to climb to the top of a 20-foot cage and pull off a move that, pull off a high spot that typically 2 guys that size, particularly when they call him, Randy Borden, the guy who people get bored of, to be able to pull off a high spot with a guy the size of Drew. It was, to me, it was phenomenal. To me, I think they made the right decision right now. I think you go back to Drew when you have a crowd and give him that opportunity. But I loved everything about this match. I love the decision making. I love the booking. I'm all in on this program.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Randy winning the matchup, I think we could all say that it was probably going to happen. Like you were saying, Chrome, you've been talking about it before, and it kind of makes sense that they would do it now because you have enough time to build Orton up with his run, and then for that Edge program to really have a lot of fire behind it. Maybe even have Edge win the Rumble if he's healthy enough to do it. If that's the case, then holy shit, that would be a great program right there. But with that, Drew, while he had his run, I don't think it was a bad run. I think, unfortunately, like you were saying, that not having a crowd kind of hurt him. Because he was a first-time champ. He wasn't familiar in the WWE Championship reign. Yeah, he's been a world champion. He was an NXT champ, and he was an Impact champion beforehand. But this was the WWE title, so it's a little bit different. And while I can't say that every main event he was booked in was perfect because the Dolph one was kind of stupid, but most of the time, relatively, he was pretty solidly booked for the most part. So I can't really say too much bad about his WWE Championship run. I'd like to see, hopefully, when we get that crowd back, maybe he gets another run, and hopefully we get that big reaction and some really good matches out of him if we can get a second run out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I liked everything that they did, everything they came up with, every spot they had. Climbing up to the top and Randy pulling out the lightsaber was kind of weird for me. Like it didn't fit the match. It like there's one thing I could do without. And then I didn't like the little rest for their feet on the side on the other side of the cage. Like, okay, so they're gonna do a spot into the table, right? Like that telegraphed it too much for me.
I think they always have that on the cage, though.
I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
But I will say when Drew's climbing the cage, you got to go back and watch it. That cage does not like Drew's weight. It was going, nope. Bring that ass back down here.
I actually thought when he did what was it? Did he do a bro kick or something? Not a bro kick, but anyway, the point is he did maybe a Claymore or what have you, and then he lost his balance. And he barely was able to stand on his own 2 feet at the top of the cell. I'm like, oh my God, please tell me that cell is not going to give way. Because I was thinking to myself,
about going up. Screw up. Oh, up there.
I was saying when I saw him up there and I saw him losing his balance and I saw the cage was starting to go down, I'm like, oh shit, no. Hopefully not, because that cage is not the same one that Mick Foley went through by accident. That one actually would have been better to go through than this one. Oh man. But yeah.
But I'm nitpicking at that point, right? It was the little things for me that really stuck out in this match. And kudos to Drew for selling what was it? They were playing off the knee, right? It was either the knee or the leg. Because when he does that Claymore at the end, he doesn't get all of it. It looks more like anything like a big boot than an actual Claymore. And so they were playing off of that. And I liked the win. I like Randy being the champion. We see it on Monday night of where they're kind of taking that story. They're not just casting Drew off to the side. They're fading him out and what they plan on doing with Randy. And so I like this, right? I'm for this. I thought it was a great bookend, to your point from earlier, Chrome, of Hell in a Cell. You started with a phenomenal Hell in a Cell match for the main title of SmackDown, and you finish it with the Hell in a Cell match for the main title for Raw. And they are two of the best programs going out there, with surprisingly four of some pretty big names. And because Jey Uso has made a name for himself throughout this program, especially after Sunday night. In essentially not giving up, getting his ass kicked, not giving up.
Yeah.
But Drew and Randy, phenomenal, great stuff. Very violent in the beginning. Randy kind of rushing him down, and the place exploded. Not exploding, but Randy keeping those ring gear pants on, and then them having to cut away awkwardly. It's like, oh, Randy's taking his pants off.
Yeah.
Which he should have just wrestled the damn things on and said, fuck it.
It was a great match, and I think the right decision. And kind of just, the fallout that you alluded to in terms of Raw, I got to say, man, week in and week out, this Alexa Fiend union, it's just getting better and better for me. I mean, Alexa, what a side we're seeing from her right now, man. Like, spot on. Loving the Firefly Funhouse segments.
That eye change.
Yeah, that was cool, man. She's
Dude!
a great addition. Poor Ramblin' Rabbit. Poor Ramblin' Rabbit's never going to make it through another episode. He's like the Kenny from freaking South Park.
Yeah, he's their Kenny. So, funny story. I'm watching Raw live last night, right? And it gets to the part with the moment of bliss. And Drew comes out, but then the lights go out for the Fiend and everything like that. Well, Alexa's sitting at the top of the ring post. Well, it just so happens almost at her height, there are lights behind her. And I was like, I guess they were like arena lights or whatever that they just forgot to turn off. I was like, and they looked like eyes. I was like, holy shit, did they give her glow in the dark like contact lenses or something?
That would have been cool.
I was like, this is amazing. I'm freaking out. And so I'm not focusing on anything else but that spot right there on the TV. And then, well, it wasn't her.
No, I think she's been really great in this program. And what I liked about the way that they carried that through last night was, to have the Fiend show up, not get physical, but stand behind him, and then have Orton slowly has to make the decision of which way he's going to go, and kind of to set up obviously what we anticipate the next program being, to see him make that decision now to go back to the guy he just ran away from for an ass whooping. I loved it. Thought it was really, really good. I was a fan.
Yeah,
guys.
I was a huge fan of that.
The Mia Yim thing was kind of weird from Raw. I just other quick news and notes. I did love the backstage segment with the New Day, Asuka, and the Hurt Business. Totally love that.
That
really
was
got
good.
Into it. I guess they're setting up a new Eddie Guerrero China storyline with Garza and
that
Nia.
was hysterical.
Loved it. That was good.
Shayna goes, Garza, really? And just looks at her in pure disappointment and walks out of the shot. I'm like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that
That's the
was
best
really
thing
good.
Shayna's ever done.
I loved it. Yeah, that was good. Matthew McConaughey makes his little appearance. That's the new thing now, is they have these random appearances on the Thunderdome. Any other news and notes really to, obviously all the title matches are set up, or all the matches, were set up for Survivor Series.
Oh, I can't say it with a straight face, but Lana is the team captain for the Raw Women's. And then they put her ass to a table.
It's funny. I will admit they're getting very creative with the burial here. I give them this one. They're at least making her they're giving her a little something by making her captain, but they're still gonna put her through the table. At least they're being creative with it.
Dude, she's getting more TV time than Miro right now, though.
Damn, that's pretty bad.
I'm I almost feel bad for her at this point. Is this the goal? And you know what's funny? When Adam Pearce and whoever the hell Pat Buck is, I've never heard of him before, but okay. I don't know why he needed to be there, but sure. Adam Pearce has been doing a fine job. But as soon as Lana's music hit, I was like, it don't matter who's in this match. She winning. Charlotte Flair could have made her return last night. Lana was winning that match, and her ass was going through a table.
I'll give you a little background on Pat Buck. Pat Buck was an indie wrestler and promoter who is a douche, and I can tell you from firsthand experience. I won't
delivery.
I will not say any names, but someone I know who was working with a talent, and Pat Buck wanted to have a part in something with it. Where a lot of times when there's multiple events going on in one area, people like some of the promoters will work together to split costs, like flight and travel and this and that, right? And boarding. And he was a complete douche about it, and then threatened to put somebody out of business because he wasn't getting what he wanted out of. I don't know. It was something. It was real douchey on his end. I've never liked him since then. And I hope that he fucking breaks his ankle next time when he walks out there.
So, follow up to that. How do you really feel?
He's a stupid ginger. He's not in the ginger gang. Fuck that
guy.
He's not even in the ginger gang wolf pack.
Nope. He's an outcast. We've banished him.
Here's a critique I have for Raw that I didn't like, and it kind of takes away from the match for me. Sheamus Matt Riddle is about to start, and they announce Raw Talk is going to happen with Sheamus on Raw Talk. Well, all right, so now you've told me that Sheamus is going to win, right? And I thought that was the match of last night. Match of the show.
Yeah. So let's dive into that, because that actually, my critique is I have a critique with that match. Overall, by the way, I think that SmackDown was really good, or Raw was really good. It's better than it's been in a while.
Yes.
So I will say that the match quality was good. For the most part, the segments were good. They all built towards something. We didn't get a lot of the the nonsensical filler segments. I enjoyed it. But our final topic of the evening, and we wanted to talk about this, is we would be remiss not to acknowledge, at least for the time being, the absence of NXT being a part of Survivor Series. And good transition talking about Matt Riddle, because again, here's my issue, is that this is an opportunity, particularly if you're not, and maybe I'm wrong then. If you're not, Matt Riddle came up as this, supposed to be this next future. He beat AJ Styles. He's the future of the company, and yada, yada, yada. Why are we trotting Sheamus out there again? This is an opportunity to highlight one of your young stars, your future stars, that any company in this world right now would pine at to feature on their pay-per-view. Why would you not try to? I mean, and no disrespect to Sheamus, but let's be real. We've seen it. We've seen this act over and over. The character right now is stale, as it always was. I miss the Mohawk Sheamus. I actually liked that Sheamus. I liked that Sheamus. At least he had a different edge to him. I liked him when he was in the bar. He's come back, and he's back to being like goofball Twisted Beaker from the fucking Muppets. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. I'm not a fan.
Goofball Twisted Beaker from the Muppets. I'm in.
And now all of a sudden, we're going to remove the element of NXT that features the young talent. But we're also going to remove the young talent that we've just made a point to try to sell the mainstream audience on being a big deal, on the future of the company. It seems counterproductive to me. It seems nonsensical, and I just don't understand it.
So here's what I have for that. It's two things. One, there's a part of me that says yes, they will still be in it, only because when they put the logo for Survivor Series up last night, there's yellow in this, like it's red, yellow, blue, or red and blue, yellow, red, however it is. Yellow's in the middle. If you go back and you look, when they put the logo up, the yellow's at the bottom, underneath the word Survivor Series. So it's where I kind of think, okay, they're gonna do it. Now, take that step back. Because of everything that's going on in the world today with the pandemic and everything like that, and how there's a reason why WWE Underground isn't a thing anymore, because they've separated the NXT stars from the Raw and SmackDown stars, right? Because of that little outbreak that NXT had. I could see that being another reason why NXT is not included in this year. So if that ends up coming out and being the reason, okay, I can't say I like it, but I can understand it. You know?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I had a discussion on earlier, and actually now Googling it to see if I could find anything that is actually one of the it's one of the things that's talked about as a possible reason as to why. And here is the one thing you have to think about, because I do believe, maybe in hindsight now, that NXT will not be a part of it. However, so the reasons given here are, A, they are running 3 major shows for storylines within a month. They just had a takeover. They have Halloween Havoc this week, and December 6th is another takeover. So it is a lot to try to run storylines and have some sort of a continuity for that. So I get that. I think we all expected, because they weren't having a takeover Survivor Series weekend, what is it? War Games is normally around this time, that we expected it. However, you have to take into consideration the massive amount of injuries that NXT has right now and how difficult it could be. When you talk about Karrion Kross being hurt, when you talk about Bobby Fish and Roddy Strong and who am I missing? They got a lot of injuries.
Balor's out.
Finn Balor is out.
Adam Cole's on the shelf. Whether it's storyline or not, he's on the shelf right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people right now that are off the table that it may be very difficult to field a team or teams that weren't enough to include them. So I can see that reasoning. If that's the true reason, it makes sense to me. However, I still think it's something that they can pull. Maybe they're not a part of every match. Whatever. That's fine. I just think, and the other thing too, guys, think about last year, right? We had the issue with the whole reason that they were really on the main roster to start was because of the issue with travel from Saudi Arabia. So they almost it seemed like they fell into it, to where they could see the success that they could have and the opportunity to capitalize. And they had a full roster then to be able to bring them in and intermingle them to get the rub from Raw and SmackDown stars. So, whether that was a one-off or whether injury issues are in fact a major factor in their decision not to be a part of it, I hope that it's one of those two, because if they're just deciding not to do it, man, what an absolute fail and missed opportunity then.
Now, this may be a little bit of a weird idea, but what
Shock,
if...
you coming up with a weird idea.
Well, shut up. But what if there was an opportunity available to both Raw and SmackDown where you have certain talent from NXT that you want to highlight, and the opportunity comes to where you can slot an NXT wrestler onto your team? They're not a Raw and SmackDown wrestler, but they're like an NXT, you can bring in a sub. You can have an NXT wrestler come in and be on that team if it's somebody you want to showcase at Survivor Series.
No,
it's not something you have to do for every match,
Nope.
but it's something that it could throw in there just to showcase them.
No, I don't think they do that at all. It's either they're on. I think it's either they're on or they're not. They have a deep enough roster at this point, so they're not going to pull from NXT when they can pull people from their own rosters. I mean, Jeff Hardy's not, as of now, is not on the card. Matt Riddle, as of now, is not on the card. Tons of names that they could pull from. I don't see the need to go back. I get what you're saying, but that's, to me, that's just wishful thinking as opposed to a logical idea for them.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, do you guys think it's a missed opportunity here or what?
See, I struggle with that because knowing of what's going on, it's hard for me to say, yeah, it's a missed opportunity. I think it's an unfortunate consequence of what's been happening in the world, right? It's collateral damage, I guess you could say.
Can you imagine though, man? Like if Karrion Kross never got hurt, you'd have Orton versus Karrion Kross versus Roman Reigns.
Take my money.
I'm in.
I'd be on a plane.
And I do think too, if they're I wouldn't see them putting Damian Priest in a matchup with Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. I think that's the blind leading the blind leading the blind. However, throwing a guy because I know Gargano's getting ready to go after that title. I could see them putting the title on Gargano and setting up Survivor Series with him.
Well, no, it'll be Damian Priest versus Sami Zayn versus Mace or Slapjack.
Oh,
Casey Jones or Bane.
They'll
or
have Bobby
Smackdass,
drop
whatever
the
one we're
title.
gonna call him.
Oh yeah, Bobby Lashley dropped the title, and then it'll be a bunch of Vanilla and Red Velvet Cake going at it.
Oh,
Hey, that's just because they know Chrome's gonna watch. They want to piss him off. So there you go, Chrome. Enjoy.
Wouldn't
But
be the
just
first
for
time.
you. Yeah, it'll be called the Chromiac Special.
oh no, I'm good. You can keep that. I'm good. Gentlemen, this was a fun show. I had fun talking with you guys. We'll do it again sometime soon. You know,
Yes, we
one thing
will.
we're working on, just so you guys, a couple programming alerts for this program. You know, we're working on some fun new concepts. I know Maddie thought up a great idea that we would hope that people would want to participate in. We're going to do a trivia night. So we're trying to figure out if we're going to try to sneak that in before or after Survivor Series, but we're going to do it. We're going to do an A2D trivia, wrestling trivia night here. As well as, if you guys remember, before SummerSlam, we did our dream card matches. We're going to do the same for Survivor Series. We're going to do a draft your dream card. Similar rules apply. If you missed that show, it was a fun show. Go back and check the A2D archives. Hey, speaking of shows that you might have missed, you know, we weren't on the air last week because we double dipped the week before. Get over there, guys. Check out A2D's archive. We had our Animal Tribute Series, Road Warrior Animal Tribute Series. What was that?
Yeah, what was that?
What?
I don't. It was like an Undertaker gong.
Huh?
It sounded like a gong or something like that. It was like, I don't know. Anyway, obviously it was on his end. Anyway, we had our Road Warrior Animal Tribute Series, guys. We had 2 great shows with 3 spectacular guests. Part 1 featured Nikita Koloff and Bushwhacker Luke Williams, and what a lot of great insight they had there. Part 2 was the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, who gave us a phenomenal view into the Road Warriors, into Road Warrior Animal, Joe Laurinaitis, and also talked about a lot of the highlights of his career. Some of the most memorable moments. It talked about, you know, how professional wrestling has evolved, even threw in a little insight on Cody Rhodes and his success that we've had. So lots of really good stuff to go back and check out, guys. And hey, by the way, make sure you're checking out In This Very Ring this week.
We're not on this week.
All right, next week. You know, we're gonna do, just to give you guys another little heads up. Lazy Booking will officially be Tuesday nights permanently, even beyond the football season. So we will be, almost officially your Raw recap show, as well as Andy. For the most part, will be the SmackDown. I know you guys will talk some Raw, but for the most part, you guys are going to be given that fresh off SmackDown perspective. We're going to be doing it for you guys for Raw. You'll see our faces intertwine on each other's shows.
And we're going to be pay-per-view previews. You're going to be pay-per-view reviews.
Exactly. So lots of really good fun stuff that we're going to be having coming up. And that's pretty much it. So make sure you check out all the programming here on A2D Radio. We have new shows starting next Tuesday night. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled time between 6:30 and 7 o'clock is usually where we start. We have the ladies starting next week. They'll be starting next Tuesday night, I believe, at 8:30. We also have a couple of other new shows coming up, including for all you card collectors out there. I know it's a hobby that's revived, and you guys can go and get in that action. We're going to be having a show drop for you for that. Obviously, tomorrow night we have the Fix in the PM. Thursday night, Birds of a Feather comes at you with Thursday night football live reaction, as well as an Eagles preview show. Hockey happy hour coming at you on Thursday night. Friday night we have our all-star variety show, which is essentially what it is. Every week we're gonna just throw a bunch of guys at you, just talk about current sports.
It's like, whose line is it anyway?
Basically, it's what it's gonna end up being. You don't know who you're gonna have, but you're gonna have a group of guys. It's gonna be our fun, just kind of
good luck and enjoy.
Saturday we have Kicking It Stateside, the weekly roundup, typically in this very ring. Not this week though; they'll be back to their regularly scheduled time next week. For Sunday we have obviously the flagship show, Agree to Disagree. I think they're doing ESPN this week.
They are.
Since unfortunately, due to weather and we were unable to do the live cast simulcast with 97.3 ESPN Radio this week. So make sure you check out for that on Sunday morning at 10 p.m. Monday, the Sports Hounds, and then we'll be back with you again next Tuesday night with the ladies following. So shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to Paul Vidal at SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com, Michael Ambrose over at ambuckservices.com, AMBUCK services.com. Don't forget, let Michael know we sent you. You're going to get 20% off any gutter guards, gutter cleaning, deck installation, restoration, tree trimming, any kind of outside work. Hit him up. And hey, shout out to Philly Drinkers, Alex, and all their wonderful products over there. A2D products, their own products down there, phillydrinkers.com. Check out the A2D collection at that link below, phillydrinkers.com/A2D radio. For myself, for Mr. Matty Sinsuti over here. Matty, try it again.
There we go. I got it right this time.
It only took you all 6 months.
No, it took me a lot longer than that, but thank you.
Shut up, I was giving you credit.
I appreciate that.
And for my guy down here, Ritz, thanks for joining us, buddy. Thank you for
having me, as always.
Love having Stat Guy Ritz. I didn't even tear you up too much tonight, buddy.
No, this was calm for the two of us.
This might be like a new leaf. This might be a new thing.
No, you say that now until we get to that.
You shut up over there.
You say that now, and then we get to that Survivor Series draft, and that's when the shit's going to hit the fan. Yeah, you know it's coming then.
I mean, the guy was fucking 2 years old for the Teamsters and the bad guys.
Yeah, man.
You have a lot to go through here.
Yeah.
But listen, no, seriously, great show. Appreciate you guys. Andy, thank you so much for doing your thing tonight. Thanks to Tom and everything here. Wonderful at A2D, all the guys here. And to you, the fan, for your comments, for your follows, your shares. Check us out on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Am I missing anything?
Speaker, Spotify.
Speaker, Spotify,
Facebook.
Apple Podcasts.
I didn't do the podcast yet. I'm talking about social.
Boy,
no. I didn't say Facebook. The one that, whatever. Facebook. Check us out on all of our podcasts. Follow us on all
Been hosting shows for years here, boys and girls.
Google Podcasts and iTunes. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts and iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, everywhere. It's all over the place. We love you guys. Stay safe. Please put your masks on. Be careful. And I guess for me, guys, I'm going to Florida this week. So
what a shock.
You all have some fun, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Take care.